Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes. This is episode number 82, and it's going to be a mix today. My main focus is with potions and spells, but I had a family emergency last week that prompted me to do some very, very specific workings with the May 1st dew/water that I collected. And you know what? It just came together how it was supposed to be for today's recording, even the fact that it is number 82, like all of it. Okay, well, since what I did over the weekend is exactly what this whole episode or the topic is about today, I'm just going to start talking from the heart so you know how I got to the point I did in making the potion. And while most of Mother's Day, themes or postings are probably going to be like nice and light and fluffy and full of hearts and XOXOs and, all that good stuff. This one is not exactly that type of recording. I don't know if I need to put a full trigger warning here, but I will be talking about some medical stuff, surgery, the feelings of loved ones that go with it. So if that is a sensitive subject for you, this might not be your episode. All right, here we go. Well, last week was crazy. On Monday, the 29th of April, my mom called my cell phone around 8 a.m. I was in the office a good half an hour into my workday when she buzzed. I said, "Good morning," and she said, "I am scared." Now, regardless of what words she chose to use, I could hear it in her voice. My first thought was, okay, something's going on, like an intruder. But then she said that she had chest pains. I told her to hang up the phone. I was on my way. Now, my office is about 4 minutes from my house, really close, so it was a super quick drive over there. I ran inside, and she said she was in a lot of pain. I asked what she was feeling, what led up to it, and for the most part, it was a normal morning, right? She was in her jammies, she had just finished a cup of coffee, she had a piece of toast with honey on it, all typical stuff for her. But then a tightness came over her chest. She apparently went back to lie down in bed to see if it would pass, but it got worse. So she called me. I said, "That's it. Let's get in the car. Let's go." So I live in a small town in California, by no means a big city, but we do have our own hospital and ER. So I had her there by 8:30 in the morning. Now, first thing after getting her all hooked up and monitored was a nitroglycerin hit, and it helped relieve the pain. So that told all of us something is in fact going on with her heart. Now, some more tests were done, another round of nitroglycerin was given, and then the decision to send her down to Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital was made. Now, by 10:30-ish, she was being transported down there by ambulance. My brother was my first call, and he actually lives and works down there, and I was not allowed to be in the ambulance with her, so I knew he could get to her faster. So I zipped back to my office to let the girls know what was going on, grabbed a coffee and my stuff, which I promptly forgot earlier in my quick, abrupt exit, but then headed out for the 45-minute-ish drive down to Santa Barbara. Now, I know I have a bunch of listeners in different countries, so just saying the name of Santa Barbara, California is not really going to help much. It is a coastal city about 3 hours-ish up north from Los Angeles, if that kind of helps give you a location spot. It's a very upscale community. So with that comes a very upscale and high-end doctors and care at our fingertips. And luckily, our little hospital and ER where I live gets a bunch of those same doctors and nurses who, sub out and work with us too. But anyways, Monday was filled with test after test after test. They were monitoring her blood pressure the most, which at many points, and get ready for this one, was like 194 over 120. And mind you, that is while she's on blood pressure medicine given directly through her IV, or one of the many IVs that she had. Anyways, towards the end of the day, maybe 4 or 5-ish, we had Two separate teams of cardiac surgeons evaluating all of the tests. There is a specific team for the upper ascending aorta, and then there is a team for the lower descending aorta. And those two ended up being the main surgeons who we were consulting with, that my mom, my brother, and I were consulting with. Now, if you don't know what the aorta is, that is not actually the heart. The heart and the aorta are two completely separate things. The aorta is the largest artery in our body, and it originates from the left ventricle of our heart. It first goes up, which is the ascending part, towards the neck, and then it goes down, which is the descending part, into our abdomen. So it serves as, honestly, the main conduit for oxygen-rich blood to be distributed to all parts of our body. And then it branches out into, smaller arteries that deliver blood to our organs, to our tissues, and to our cells. The aorta is strong. It withstands the high pressure generated by the heart's contractions. It honestly plays a crucial role in maintaining circulation and, ensuring our body's vital organs receive the necessary oxygen and nutrients for their own proper function. If you hear the word aorta, just think it's the main artery in our body. It's the biggest one, and it comes from and is directly attached to our heart. So back to our teams, we have two of them, right? Two specialists for the ascending part and for the descending part. Now, the descending team surgeon ended up coming in to let us know that he and his team are defaulting recommendations to the ascending team, because that main artery coming right from the heart is where most of the damage is and what my mom's pain and symptoms are coming from. So we wait a little bit. And then the ascending surgeon comes in and explains what he sees in all the tests, which is her heart is good, right? It's beating great. It did well with the stress test, and on and on and on. But her aorta, about 2 inches of it, right at the part that attaches to the heart, is damaged. Now, that part of the artery that comes from the heart and heads up to her neck, before it starts turning and heading down, is, again, that ascending part. And with that, we thought, okay, it's surgery. And this is our guy, right? This is our surgeon. But no. He said I put big quotes on this one, he could do it. Even though the hospital we are in has all the new equipment, the new procedures, all the good stuff, he felt more comfortable sending Mom either down to UCLA, to Cedars, or up to Stanford for the procedure. The surgeon had already consulted with his colleagues in all three of these hospitals, and they all agreed on what needed to be done, and that it should be done in one of these three locations. And quickly. So after approval was given, my mom got a fun little helicopter ride and was airlifted down to Los Angeles at the Cedars-Sinai Hospital. Gosh, I think it was around 11 p.m. Now, my brother and I spent the day with her on Tuesday, along with my uncle and his wife that drove up. The ICU only lets 2 people in at a time, so we all kind of swapped out and rotated shifts. That night, as I said goodnight to my mom on Tuesday evening, I grabbed her hand and I kissed her forehead. I said, I love you. You've got this. She said, I love you. Please do a spell for me. So it honestly made me giggle and smile, but you know what? I did it. It was really late on Tuesday night when I finally got back home. Emotionally exhausted, of course, but I lit a candle for my mom and sent some very specific energy down to her. Now, on Wednesday, my mom had open heart surgery, replacing the damaged 2 inches of her ascending aorta artery. The surgery went for 8 hours, and it was very successful. Normally, after surgery, they get taken to the recovery room. For her, that was back to the ICU. And the nurses transition you to wake up, right? The breathing tube comes out, and they gradually take you off the sedation and anesthesia. That they start that process of recovery. Unfortunately, my mom did not transition well, so they had to leave the breathing tube in and keep her sedated. So this lasted all evening, with the tube finally coming out on Thursday. Now, she was, and honestly still is, as I record this on Saturday, still a little disoriented, which is honestly a great move up from being combative. But she was actually physically out of the bed, still in ICU, but physically out of the bed and into one of the chairs in the room for a good portion on Friday. So you know what? Baby steps, right? She is a fighter and she will get there on her own terms, right as she needs to. So my brother was with her yesterday and will be there again today. I am driving down tomorrow on Sunday to spend the day with her. And I am hopeful, as you're hearing this on Wednesday, that she is either by Wednesday in a regular hospital room, out of the ICU, or possibly in transport to a rehab facility that will help her get her strength back for another week before going home. So it's, big breath. It's been a whirlwind of a week. If you remember, I had a huge trip planned with my boys for this past weekend. I was flying them into LA for our Disneyland trip. We had Star Wars night tickets for Thursday and then park hopper tickets for Saturday and Sunday, with the boys flying out and all of us heading back to our homes on Monday. Now, I have not seen my boys since Yule. I miss them terribly, but called both of them when my mom was admitted to the ER saying, hey, I might need to cancel our trip. Without hesitation, they completely agreed. So the trip was canceled. Refunds are hopefully in progress for parts of it. Some things I just lost the cost to, but none of that really matters. I needed to be with my mom during this part of her journey. So, and guess what else happened during all this? Beltane. Her surgery was actually on Wednesday, May 1st, our Beltane May Day. So one of the two thinnest times of our veil, and all of those wonderful things I had planned for Beltane? No, it was not meant to be. But something else was meant to be. And there were lots of little signs leading up to eventually what was going to be my journey today. So that is what I'm sharing with you. So thank you for staying with me during the story of what happened, because it's those very events that lead me to the Mother's Day elixir and potion that I made today, along with some magical black salt. Let's do what an elixir is first. I know you guys know, but just in case, elixirs are typically associated with witches, with sorcerers, and other magical people. The exact composition and effects of a witch's elixir are going to vary widely, right, depending on what we are using, what the desired outcome of the elixir is. But either way, they are often, are powerful little concoctions mixed with our own personal mystical properties. Now, our elixirs share the elements of magic in our practices, right? Historically, they were often associated with alchemy, that, precursor to modern chemistry. I do think the term elixir sparks more of a medicinal or, medicine type value, but for our practice, I think now it's a bit more interactive with our potions and spells, or for me it is. Now, my original plan with the magical May 1st dew was to make another elixir for myself. Just like I did last year, I was going to rinse and repeat this year, but something else was needed. First off, I got home so late on Tuesday evening and was so tired that while a candle was lit and I put it in my kitchen window to burn all the way down, the glass jar was not put outside to collect May 1st dew. Now, after coming back home on Wednesday night after Mom's surgery, I did put some water outside in a glass jar to gather what I still could from the May 1st energy. It absorbed all night, and I brought it in on Thursday after the morning energy finalized it. Now, I also lit and lit and lit incense after incense after incense on Thursday. Also, that evening on May 2nd, I started a fire in my fire pit and celebrated the May Day energy and the element of fire. Now, I put both fresh rosemary, like huge cuttings that created a bunch of smoke, and fresh horehound into the fire so it would burn and fill the air with its energy. Now, I don't know if you remember me saying I've been having multiple fire pit evenings, multiple lighting and burning of incense, well beyond my normal and typical routines. I even mentioned to Justin a while back when Annika and I were talking to him, like there's such a big presence of smoke and fire, and of course all of my horehound growing. Like I have felt my grandfather, which is my mom's dad, close to his pipes that I keep on my witchy cabinet. There's just been a bunch of energy leading up to this past week, and I know it is super hard to understand stuff for me, especially when we are knee deep in it and right in the thick of signs and energy. But I honestly do have a feeling all of this was leading up last week to Mom's emergency surgery. All right, so a couple of things I've done for my mom using the Mayday energy I grabbed with the water, and the dew. I pulled from some Mother's Day energy, which is coming up. Mother's Day is always the second Sunday of May, so this year it happens to fall on the 12th. And I pulled her birthday energy. My mom is going to be 82 on May 17th. Interesting, right? This is episode number 82. But she will be turning 82 on May 17th. The 12th is Mother's Day, and here on the 1st, she had this big surgery. So all of those ashes, right, from the incense, I have them still. Now, I almost always clean up after burning a stick. I don't know why, I just do. But I have left the ashes on the tray for over 3 weeks now. I could not clean them up for some reason, right? For some reason, I was being led to just leave them. So I went with it. Again, hoping the reason would be clear and reveal itself at some point. And it did. These ashes from the burning and energy of my own happiness, joy, and comfort are needed for my mom. And they are going directly to her for her own happiness, joy, and comfort. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place in this podcast. I apologize. My thoughts are still a bit scattered and my energy is still depleted from all of the emotions over the past 7 days. But let me talk about the ashes first. What I did was make black salt for my mom. Now, our witch's black salt, right, it's known for its protective and banishing properties. We use it in our rituals, spells, and our ceremonies to ward off negativity, repel evil spirits, or maybe even create barriers of amazing and powerful protection. Okay, my cat is trying to help, and he's rubbing back and forth over the recording equipment. So if you hear that, I'm so sorry. Now, if you've not made your own black salt yet, it's super easy to do. Now, I guess it can vary, but what I do is I mix together ashes from my incense burnings. I mix fire pit fires or even fireplace fires, ashes and coals. And then I also usually add specific herbs and then, of course, the sea salt. I know some people will use essential oils in their black salt mixture, but I have not done that, or not yet. But anyways, once you have the mixture you need to consecrate it and, charge it with your intention, which for many of us is combined with a ritual of sorts. Now, I made a specific jar for my mom, again, with the incense ashes, the fire pit ashes, and charcoal. I personally grabbed rosemary for protection. I also grabbed the horehound since it was speaking so clearly and loudly to me. I'm bringing that in for wisdom and knowledge. And I sealed it with, wax burning from a candle lit for her specific protection. How she uses it? Well, that is up to her. General use can be, for sprinkling around doorways, windows, really anywhere you want to feel that layer of protection. I have used black salt under candles that I light for my boys, sending them protection, or specific energy. A lot of it has to do with test taking in their finals. But there are a lot of uses. But my mom has her own container now of black salt, and it pulls from all of the amazing energy that I was creating over the past couple of weeks. So let's see, May 1st, dew and water. Now, normally I would just say May 1st dew, but life chose a different path for me this year. I did use some water that I added to the glass jar in the dew that was created in and on it for my workings with the elixir and the potion for my mom. Now, what is the power of May 1st dew water? Well, it is believed that these special magical dewdrops possess magical properties containing the essence of life itself. Now, Beltane is all about life, right? About fertility and abundance and the awakening of the natural world. Our ancestors taught us that collecting dewdrops on May 1st can bestow blessings of protection and healing, which, considering what just happened with my mom, is exactly the energy I want to pull and work with. Now, the power of May 1st dewdrops resonates honestly on a deeper level for me. I mentioned this in the Beltane episode 2 weeks ago, but it really is more of a spiritual level that symbolizes that interconnectedness that I talked about, between humans and the natural world, those other realms. Whether it was my grandfather coming in waves, to me over the past couple of weeks, letting me know something was about to happen to mom, or other spirits coming in to help. I think Odin was chirping in pretty hard over the past month. Anyway, things were put in motion that I luckily just went along with that I think really makes sense now. So I did make 2 capsules of May 1st Dew Water for my elixir potion. I am giving one to my mom, and I'm keeping one for myself. Now for this one, I don't want to go into too many specifics. This is a very personal and private potion for me and my mom. But just know the entire base of it is created with May 1st dew and water and energy. All right, let's see. Once things slowed down, I was able to do a card pull. I certainly wanted some direction after the chaos of the week, but just wanted, that overall guidance too. Now, when I have a specific question in mind, I tend to turn to my Crow Tarot deck. And when I want that overall direction, I tend to turn to my Animal Oracle deck. I drew the grasshopper spirit that says, take a leap of faith. It says right now, the card says, right now you're poised to jump into the next level of your life and move forward into something even better than you could have ever imagined. When grasshopper spirit appears, it is a fortuitous time to take a leap into the unknown, for grasshopper spirit represents the innovative spirit that says, why not? He has faith in the powers of co-creation. You are being called to trust that this is the right time to go with that idea, that relationship, or that situation. Take risks, for abundance in all forms will show up for you. Wondrous things await when grasshopper spirit appears. You are not going to go backwards. So listen to your intuition rather than your fearful ego that resists any change and clings worriedly to what was. Luck is on your side. Jump up, jump forward, and move with confidence, for Spirit has so much in store for you if you only take that leap. Okay, grasshopper, I hear you, and I'm paying attention to your guidance. So you know what? It's a long road ahead for my mom. She has a lot of work to do. For an 82-year-old or almost 82-year-old individual undergoing heart surgery, there are several potential issues and complications that can arise during the recovery period. We've got cardiac complications, right? Due to that strain on the heart during surgery, there's going to be a risk of cardiac things happening like arrhythmia, right? That's the irregular heart rhythms. Myocardial infarction, that's actually a heart attack, or even worse, heart failure. She can have respiratory problems. Surgery definitely affects lung function, right? Can lead to pneumonia, maybe even a collapsed lung or respiratory infections. It's always going to be there for all of us, but it certainly is higher in our elders. There's risk of infection, surgical wounds, and she did not have laparoscopic surgery. She's open heart. They opened her chest up, so the wounds are susceptible to infection. And our elders can have weaker immune systems, right? They're just more vulnerable. There's cognitive changes. We already had that over the last couple of days. She was combative at first. She didn't know where she was. She didn't like being in the bed. She was trying to get out. And some individuals are going to experience that temporary change, or hopefully not anything permanent. But there's going to be confusion and memory problems. I think they often refer to it as post-operative cognitive dysfunction. Anybody can get it, but certainly, again, the older you are, the more of a risk you're going to be. There's mobility issues, right? Recovery from open heart surgery is going to involve a period of highly reduced mobility. Then that can bring blood clots, weakened muscles, or pressure ulcers, and those bed sores. There's emotional effects. Gosh, the surgery and the recovery process can be not only physically, but emotionally challenging, right? You can get anxiety, depression, stress. It's all, it's all there for us. And then there's always medication side effects that I would worry about. They're going to probably give her a bunch. She's going to be on pain relievers, blood thinners, blood pressure medicine. I don't know. Who knows what she's going to be on? Those are guesses, but she could have side effects to all that stuff. I think open heart surgery at any age is going to be dangerous. I definitely think for our elders, certainly my mom at almost 82, it's important for her to have a comprehensive care plan moving forward, right? I'm not sure exactly what all of that will mean, but I'm sure on some level she's going to be closely monitored by the doctors. She's going to have some type of rehabilitation and physical therapy, right? She's going to need family support for emotional and psychological well-being. And I know we are all going to step up. And I will personally do anything and everything I have in my power to keep her safe and well. And we do that for our family and loved ones, right? That's not a good transition into anything Mother's Day to talk about. But Mother's Day is in fact coming up, and we do take care of our loved ones. That's just what we do. A lot of the times, I think for Mother's Day, moms don't really want something tangible. They just want their children near, whatever age their children are. They want to hear their voices. They want to feel their hugs. They want to hear their laughter and see their smiles. But Mother's Day goes both ways. Many have lost their mom and don't have a chance to say directly to them, Happy Mother's Day, or I love you anymore. They miss exactly what I just mentioned a mom wants. They miss their mom's presence, their voice, their hug, saying everything's going to be okay. They miss their laughter and their smile. And at some point our moms have to go, right? Their time is done here. And I'm not sure when that time will be with my own mom. Certainly got a scare this past week, but in reality, my mom is aging, and really any time over 80 is a gift. She could have complications arise that take her, or she could live many, many, many more years. I don't know. But I do know that Mother's Day is coming up. God, that was horrible. Sorry. It's a horrible lead into Mother's Day topic. But if you are lucky enough to have your mom in your life still, then I hope you get the chance to tell her Happy Mother's Day and let her know she is loved. If you do not have your mom on earth with you still, the veil is so thin right now. Reach out. You can still tell her you love her and say Happy Mother's Day to her. Whether she is physically on this earth or not, she is still and will always be your mom. Well, you guys, thank you for listening. This is not my typical format for an episode, but it is real and it is raw and it is exactly what has been going on with me this past week. I am very happy with the black salt that I created, and I am really happy with the May 1st potion that I made, and I'm tying it all into a Mother's Day gift for my mom. She is a fighter, and I'm going to help protect her in every way I possibly can. So I am really happy we have a new moon right now. This is a new beginning for my mom. It is a fresh start and a second chance. I hope you are enjoying it too and embracing the energy our beautiful moon is giving us. I don't have a poem this week. It's just too many raw emotions stirring in me. I tried, but my words got all jumbled and mixed up each time. And half of the time I started crying so hard I couldn't even see the paper I was trying to write on. So I walked away from it. So another time, but I promise I will write something. I really do appreciate you. I really appreciate your support with Witchy Work Wishes. Thank you so much for joining me each week. I hope you have a great week and weekend, and I will talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.